So I'm here with the KICKR after having ridden it last night with Ray over at the RV park. Very surprising little unit. For the mid-range, as I spoke about in my initial product details video, I expected a little bit lower, I guess maybe ride feel, maybe accuracy. We weren't seeing that at all. This walks like a duck, talks like a duck, and is a silent KICKR 17. I think the one obvious thing was the no adjustability in height, whether that's a big thing or not, and also the legs. Last night we actually had to level the ground that we were on. I think the most used case for this though will be on level ground, as we are here, and as you would be at home and have level ground, so that's probably not much of an issue whatsoever. So look, let's have a look at the data from this unit, because the ride feel was pretty good, and as I said, with my eyes closed, this is pretty much a silent KICKR 17.
Okay, once again, quickly flipping over here to the DC Runmaker analysis tool, where we can compare multiple power meters at the same time. What you're seeing here, standard Lama lab test, and the data's looking pretty good up against the Favero Asioma Duro pedals we had. So even before first spin down here, data's tracking along pretty well with the KICKR up against the Favero Asioma pedals. And after 10 minutes, a little bit of wonkiness there once I do the calibration. So we record all the way through this, so it's sort of looking at the sections is what's more important here. So let's dive into the standard 200 watt steady state. That's holding pretty good here. Now the Asiomas are dropping a little bit here, here and here. I'm going to ignore those for now, given the environment that we were in. It was a bit of a hodgepodge setup out there in the RV car park, but when it was working, they were 1 for 1 all the way. Again, just ignoring that little blip there. Up to 250 watts for the 10 minutes. Looking pretty good. A little bit of a separation through here. I'm going to have to really dive into that back home in the Lama lab about what's going on there. But we're only looking at a separation there of around 10 watts or so at 250. Now into the first sprint was quite interesting. We had a bit of a jump in the KICKR core, recording around 1500 watts just for a slight spike, then dropping back down. Again, more data required on that, but it did record the kick in the power. And then we did another sprint just to be sure of that, and everything looks a lot cleaner there. A little bit jumpy, just through the data recording. And now, just dive in here to the 20 seconds on, 20 seconds off. Now here's a tale of not plugging in too many devices all at once here. And what we've got there is a bit of radio interference with one of the power cords we plugged in right next to my ant stick. So I had to stop and restart that session again. So diving into the 20 on, 20 off. The data's looking pretty clean here, just from the initial impressions. A little bit of difference of about, well, there's 15 watts there. But look, overall, just as a quick initial look in a car park at about 10 o'clock at night after a pretty heavy day at walking around Eurobike, the data's looking pretty good from the KICKR.
So there we are with the data, very, very impressive. And as I said, this is a quiet KICKR 17. One thing to note with this one, it doesn't come with a cassette, so you'll be adding that to the price. But for the $899 price point US, I think this is a Diretto killer, and it's going to be a hot seller in this mid-range market. All right, there we are. More data on this when we have one at home in the Lama lab. But initial impressions after that first ride, that's a 2 thumbs up from me.